Assalamu alaikum and thank you for tuning in. This is the Al Islam Community Issues Show, and I'll be your host today, Brother Benjamin Shabazz. And we have asked our brother over here, Brother Abdul Aziz, to come and do a part 2 of the show that we were dealing with was health and education. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam, Brother Benjamin. How are you, sir?
Outstanding.
Alhamdulillah.
And thank you for agreeing to do another show.
And it's great to be back.
All right.
It's great to be back.
All right. So we're going to open up. Please join us with a short dua to ask Almighty God Allah to bless us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We ask that Allah bless us to have success in this show. Ameen.
Ameen. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
So, Brother Abdul Aziz, we'd like you to give us a brief refresher on who you are, how you got involved in education, and tell us a little bit about your name.
Okay, yes, sir. I grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey, and then later moved to New York, Harlem to be exact. And that's after going to school, okay? So grew up in New Jersey. I went to Hampton, Virginia to attend Hampton University, Hampton Institute at that time, to get an education in social work. So I graduated and I moved to New York to get a job as a social worker. So after working in New York as a social worker in Harlem, New York, I got a little frustrated at trying to help people. And I convinced myself, after seeing the deplorable circumstances that people were living in. For example, I went into I went from one apartment to the next, interviewing people and seeing what their needs are. And I just didn't want to sit down because, you know, if you go in and you sit down and they got, you know, wall-to-wall roaches, you know what I mean, throughout the house, throughout the apartment. And you sit down, man, you get up, you know what's going on, you know, you're going to carry some roaches out of there. So, you know, I just, you know, trying to be on the alert all the time while I'm there, you know. So I'm trying to interview people, trying to help people, trying to write up my report, and all the time just looking around, checking, you know, to see if I'm being, you know, approached or invaded with, you know, with these creatures. So it's just a terrible way to have to earn a living. But actually, I wasn't trying to earn a living as much as I was trying to help people. So I've always had that desire to help people, you know. This is why I went into social work. So I convinced myself, after doing social work for 5 years, I convinced myself that the people don't need social workers, they need educators. And I said, if we could get these people the proper education, they won't need social services, okay? They can be independent and take care of themselves. Because Prophet Muhammad said the hand that does this instead of this is better, you know. So I wanted to encourage the people to get an education and so that they can help society instead of being dependent on society to help them. So I went back to college. I went to Boston College after working 5 years as a social worker to get a degree in education, a master's degree in education, which is, you know, which will qualify me to get into the public school system and teach. And this I did. And I taught from, I would say, that time until about 3 years ago, which was roughly about 30, 35 years in education in the school system. And I was always able to, you know, help people in education. And I was like the counselor, I was like the teacher, I was like the parent, you know, and I was always able to help people because the students had so many needs that you just can't be a teacher. And I enjoyed my job, I enjoyed the students, and I was so happy that I was able to help them. And my name being Aziz kind of helped me get through my day, because every time they call my name Aziz, Mr. Aziz, Mr. Aziz, Mr. Aziz, it sounded like music to my ears. So I said, I just love it. Just keep saying my name. I love it. So they just said, Mr. Aziz, Mr. Aziz. And I just said, yes, okay, I'll be there. And I was happy to be there. It just made my day so appreciated. Okay, I was able to help someone, and I enjoyed helping them at that. So the name Aziz is my name, and I select Abdul Aziz, which means servant of Allah, or servant of the Almighty, to be exact. And this name here has really helped me to focus on my purpose and my destination in life. So I want to make sure I try to fulfill that name of Abdul Aziz by teaching and by helping others. Okay, and when I left my job 3 years ago, the superintendent asked me, what did I plan to do once I retire? I told the principal, I told the superintendent, I said, I'm not retiring. I'm just going on sabbatical. And I've been on sabbatical ever since. Sabbatical just means studying and reading, okay? And that's exactly what I do in my spare time. I get up in the morning, I take me a nice long walk, I come back, and I study and read. So it's so much to learn that we just can't afford to just retire. We have to study so that we can share our information and knowledge with people. And this is what the Quran teaches us. Okay, and this is what we're trying to do on this show.
All
So,
right.
my brother,
Yes, sir. Thank you, my
I hope
brother.
I answered your question somewhat anyway.
Yes, you did. I think you get a good opening for those who didn't see show number 1. But for those who saw show number 1, we're going to move right into some matters we were discussing, which was about health. And we were talking about air, water, plants, some of the nutrients in the in the ground and things like that. Then we started talking about sugar and salt. So I'd like, if you would you kind of pick up on that about the sugar and the salt in the food, because we were talking about processed food and natural food.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, as we know, the processed food does contain an abundance of sugar and salt in most of it, if not all of it. And they put these ingredients in, especially the salt, to preserve it. And as we said before, if they preserve the processed food, that means it won't spoil. And they say the longer the shelf life, the shorter your life. So you don't want to eat processed food. You don't want to eat it because of the sugar and because of the salt and because of the little or no nutritional value in it. Okay, eat the wholesome, fresh, organic, raw fruits and vegetables. You can't go wrong. Okay, that way you don't have to worry about salt, because salt gets into your system and it causes you to hold water, which means gain weight and cause inflammation. So you don't need it. And sugar is very acidic. Okay, so you'll be in trouble with the sugar as well. You get acidosis, and then you get the inflammation, and then from the inflammation you may have cancer, or you may have any of the numerous illnesses or the diseases that are out there. So be aware. Eat the fruits and vegetables and stay healthy.
Well, let's now break down some of these words that you're using. You said inflammation. What is inflammation exactly?
Inflammation is just, I like to say, you know what I mean, you're burning up inside, you know, and you need to put the fire out. Inflammation is when, some inflammation, of course, is good because the body needs it to heal itself. But most of the inflammation that we get is chronic inflammation, which is setting us up for cancer, setting us up for any of these diseases that are so common and so prevalent around here today. So we need to be careful, okay? And the way not to have, not to get inflammation is to eat the green vegetables. Okay, this kind of puts the fire out that's inside. So that's why they always say green smoothies are so great. And this is one of the reasons, because it kind of puts the fire out, the inflammation out, and that way we won't. And that way we won't get that arthritis, and we won't get that constipation, and we won't get the headaches, you know, that are so common. And speaking of constipation, constipation is very common, and most people are constipated. And you tell people that, and they say, "Oh no, I'm not constipated." I said, "Yeah, you probably are. How you know?" I said, "Every time you eat, do you go to the bathroom? Do you poop every time you eat? No. Then you're constipated." He said, "Well, I said, "Yes, it does." I said, when I was a baby, every time we ate, what happened? You had to change a diaper. Every time you ate, you pooped when we were babies. Our system was clean. It wasn't all fouled up with processed food. So when we ate something, it came out. Okay, now when you eat something, what happens? Nothing. You eat again, what happens? Nothing. Constipation. Period. You are constipated. I am constipated if this happens. So we have to realize that we are constipated, and we're setting ourselves up for colon cancer, okay, or other diseases, because you can't keep that stuff in your system and expect to be healthy. You got to get it out. It's got to go through. It's got to go through. Whatever it takes, it's got to go through. So constipation, that's constipation in a nutshell, okay, and it's very common. So we need to work with that. It's nothing that we can ignore.
Okay. Now, you mentioned another term, acidic.
Acidic, well, that means that your pH system is not alkalinic. It should be alkaline instead of acidic. So you have to eat foods that will make your system, will raise the pH level in your system to, let's say, 7, okay, as a healthy level, as opposed to 3 or 4. Because if you're acidic, that is conducive for catching or getting these illnesses that you have. As long as your body is in the alkaline form, you're less likely to get many of these illnesses and diseases. Okay.
Well, let's give me an example that acidic and alkaline. I mean, give me an example. What's that? How do I know?
Well, certain foods that are bad, are not good for us, like sugar.
Okay.
Okay, sugar is very acidic. Okay, and it will cause problems. Okay, and as opposed to smoothies or green food, vegetables, is alkaline. Okay, and we want to keep the balance. We want to maybe have 1/3 acidic and maybe 2/3 alkaline, or maybe all alkaline. But we don't want too much acidic food. You don't want a whole plate of acidic food, like a whole plate of meat and protein. Okay, that would definitely give you an acidic body, in essence, and you don't want that.
So I see the word acid in acidic.
Yes, sir.
Is that what it means?
That's exactly what it means. That's the root of the word acidic. Yeah.
Okay.
Acidosis. Yeah.
Okay. So now the other word is alkaline. So what does that do? I mean, you got acidic over here, you got alkaline over here. So what does alkaline actually mean?
Alkaline means that your pH system,
Which is what?
is around 6 or 7.
What's pH
Okay.
system mean?
pH system, I can't think of the term right now, but pH system is where your blood should fall. Okay, I can't think of the term. I could look it up, but I don't want to take the time to look it up right now. And but your pH system is very important. So you want to know, when you go to a doctor, you want to know what your pH is, okay? Your blood, okay? The pH blood, okay? And he'll tell you. And of course, I will explain it to you the next time, but right now I'm just kind of short for words, and I haven't read this book in quite a while. This book explains it pretty well, but I don't want to take time to look it up now. But we'll get to it the next show for certain.
Okay. Now, there was a young man was talking to us in between shows, and he asked some very nice questions. One of them was about meat.
Yeah. Yes.
And bread. We talked about the carbohydrates and bread and meat.
Yes. Okay. I partly addressed that one of those questions when I spoke briefly on constipation, because this is exactly what causes constipation: the meat and the bread. Okay, and they tell us meat don't make turds. So in other words, meat causes constipation. Okay, and we have to be aware of this, because meat, if you have to eat meat, then eat a small portion of meat. Okay, you check the apes out, and you know, the apes don't eat meat. You know, they eat green vegetables and fruits all the time. They don't they don't eat any meat, and they just eat vegetables and fruits, and they're strong.
They're strong.
They'll take your pants down. You know,
Right.
That's how bad they are.
That's how bad
You know what
they
I
are.
mean? And they don't eat nothing but bread, you know, but the fruit and the vegetables. So we need to think about this. Allah is giving us signs in nature as to what we should be eating. We're basically vegetarians, basically. You know, a little meat is okay. It won't hurt you. I'm not saying be a vegetarian, but I'm saying eat less meat. You don't need that much meat anyway. Just a little meat, a little small portion of meat if you have to have meat. Okay, but stick with your vegetables and your fruits. And preferably eat your fruit in the morning. Okay, because it works better. And don't mix the vegetables and the fruit either. Eat your fruit in the morning, have your vegetables and other food in the afternoon or evening. Okay, for a reason. And as a matter of fact, when you're eating, don't eat a bunch of different foods on one plate. Okay, keep it simple. Eat your fruit in the morning and maybe have 1 or 2 vegetables for dinner. All right, not 4 or 5 vegetables. 1 or 2 is sufficient. You don't want to put all that stuff in your stomach at one time. Your stomach has to digest this food. And as a matter of fact, speaking of digestion, if you're over 35 or 40, then you need a digestive aid called hydrochloride, okay, to help digest your food, because you're going to have problems digesting food. If you're eating raw food most of your life, then your digestive enzymes are pretty much depleted. So you need to think about getting something to aid your digestion. Eat pineapples after you have your main meal. Eat some pineapple. That will aid your digestion. Okay, and there's other supplements out there that will also aid your digestion. Take advantage of these supplements that are out there, but don't just eat and assume that things will be digested properly, because that just may not be the case, unless you are an exception. Yes, sir.
Fish. Fish is a big issue.
Fish.
Fish
Fish is a problem. Fish is a problem, and nowadays they want to just raise farm fish. They want to feed us farm fish. Okay, that's the best way to go for them. That's the most, I would say, best way of making profit for them. Okay, they raise the fish. They have farm-raised fish, which means they feed the fish what they want to feed the fish, and they don't feed the fish anything that's healthy. They feed the fish anything that they can feed the fish, which is, and in some cases I read reports where they're feeding the fish meat, they're feeding the fish pork. And as a Muslims, you don't want pork. You don't eat pork. So why would you eat farm-raised fish? Before you buy fish, you want to check to see if it's wild caught or farm-raised. If it's farm-raised fish, you don't want it. If it's farm-raised seafood, you don't want it. You want wild-caught seafood, period.
I've seen it said that they feed farm-raised fish pork dung. I mean,
Pork dung.
That was
of course,
big
of
turnoff.
course,
Right
of course, of course. Now they do this because they have to recycle this waste. They got waste that they have to recycle. So rather than take it to the dumpster or throw it away, use it as food for the fish. So the fish will eat the waste. Okay, and on the same token, speaking of waste, a lot of the food that they are growing now, they have waste products as fertilizer. Okay, I don't want to mention any names of the products, but one product fertilizer is called Tagro. Okay, well, I was just discussing that with someone the other day, and how they're using Tagro, which is waste from sewage. Okay, waste from sewage, human waste from sewage. They turn it over into fertilizer and growing your food. Yes, okay, that's exactly what's happening. So you need to try to grow your own food if you can. Get a little small pot. Get some flower pots or get some pots and grow your own vegetables as much as you can, and buy organic as much as you can. Okay, because otherwise you don't know what you're getting, what you're paying for, and what you're eating. You just don't know. Buy organic, eat organic. Okay.
Let's talk about oils that we can use. I know you had mentioned olive oil.
Olive oil is a very good oil. It's very popular in the Mediterranean areas, and I try to take it daily because it's very good for your system. It's very good for your digestive system. It's good for so many things. It's good for your skin, and I like it. And I also take the flaxseed oil, which is very good for your heart. Of course, olive oil, likewise, is good for your heart. And what's more important than your heart? Okay, because that is the #1 cause of death, heart disease and heart illness. So we got to take care of the heart. So there you got the oils such as olive oil, take some every day. Flaxseed oil, take some other day. And the other big oil that I like is the fish oil. Okay, I like to take fish oil. Fish oil is excellent for the heart. It's very good for your blood pressure. And I try to take about 5 grams of fish oil every day. And you can even throw in some cod liver oil, which is where you get your vitamin A and D from. So look into these and try and stay healthy.
Okay, so I want to emphasize a point.
Yes.
You've given us all this advice about health food, organic food, staying away from meat. But I can get up and go outside with $4 or $5 in my pocket. I can get some Burger King, I can get some McDonald's, I can get some Wendy's, I can get some Kentucky Fried Chicken, and it right in my budget.
Yes, sir. You're right.
So why is it that what people say is unhealthy food is so affordable?
It is so affordable. That's the plan, to make it affordable, but yet you're paying for something that's affordable but unhealthy. Now you have to make the decision, okay? Do you want to just eat junk, buy junk, and then put it in your body? Okay, Allah put a value on your body, okay? And I don't think He intended for you to put junk in your body. Okay, your body is like I said, is worth We don't know. Trillions of dollars. You know, if you can't even put a value on your body. You know, and yet you want to just disregard that and put junk in it? Something's wrong. Something is seriously wrong. And you need to think about that, and you need to value yourself, you need to value your health, and you need to value your family's health and value your community's health. Okay, health, we got to think health. Okay, so don't worry about saving a dollar. Okay, worry about saving your life. Like I said, you don't want to dig your grave with your fork and your spoon. Okay, just because you're saving a dollar, that's what you're doing. Digging your grave with your fork and your spoon. Okay, so be aware of that. Be careful of that. Be cautious of that. Okay, and you know, Allah, speaking of health and diet, you know, there's a phrase that I wanted to share with you. It's called the doctrine of signatures. Now, the doctrine of signatures is a profound ancient wisdom phrase that states that food, vegetables, and fruits are shaped and formed to coincide with the body's organs. Okay, for example, we know that walnuts, you look at a walnut, you observe a walnut, it's shaped like the brain. Okay, there are signs in nature and there are signs in you. Okay, now we know that the walnut, eating walnuts every day is good for your brain. Okay, it feeds the brain. It gives us the phosphorus that the brain needs. The brain has phosphorus in it, and it needs phosphorus from the walnut. So we need to eat food that are nutritional and that will take care of the brain. And then you got the kidney bean. Kidney bean is good for the kidneys, without a doubt. You study the kidney beans, and you look at your kidneys, and you can see that the minerals in your kidneys are also in the bean. And you can just follow right on down. You take the carrot, you cut the carrot in half, okay, across the carrot, and you see, look at the carrot, observe it, and you can see that it looks like the eye. Okay, carrots are good for the eye. Carrots create circulation to your eyes, and we need carrots. Okay, and we can go on and on and on with the fruits and vegetables, and what each one is symbolic of, and why we should eat what each one if we want to have liver problems, kidney problems, eye problems, ear problems, mushrooms. You know, we got all of these vegetables, and Allah shaped them in the form of our organs, so we'll know which ones to eat so that it will heal that particular organ.
Wow.
You know, it's just so much. The signs are all in nature for us, and we have